Okay, so let's start getting some rules under our belt. The first thing I want you to do is explore some constant functions. So constant function y is equal to 4 is going to be, and I want you to give it a try first. Sketch it. For number 1, I got a horizontal line at y is equal to 4. I drew it in. What's the slope of that function? Well, we know that the slope of a horizontal line is equal to 0. So that means, remember, the slope of a function is also its derivative. So y prime is equal to 0. Or you could have written dy dx is equal to 0, whichever notation you're picking. And then for the second one here, same idea. Even though f of x is at -2, it's still a constant function. The slope of that line is still 0. So that means that f prime of x is equal to 0. So no matter what value you pick for x, it's always going to be 0. That's the constant rule. The derivative of a constant function is 0. That is, if c is a real number, then when we take the derivative of that number, you're always going to get a 0. So we're going to do the proof for this. The proof is actually pretty straightforward. We're going to use the limit definition for that. So we're going to do d dx of c, of c is equal to the limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of c. So in other words, or c plus delta x. So if you think about this, if I'm doing, I have to do x plus delta x, but there is no x to substitute in, we are going to get c for this f of x plus delta x is going to equal just c. And the same for f of x, no matter what, is always going to be c here. So that is over delta x. So in the numerator, I get the limit of delta x approaching 0 of 0 over delta x. Well, anything that is 0 in the numerator is just going to give me a 0. So there's our proof that d dx of c is equal to 0. Example 1, anytime you see a constant, find the derivative of y is equal to -5, y prime is equal to 0. F prime, even if f of x is equal to 0, f prime of x is also equal to 0. Some things to keep in mind, by the way, for the next one where I see a lot of people mess up. They think of e as a variable. It's not. E is Euler's constant, so therefore that's just a constant value. So when I take the derivative of that, I get s prime of t is still just going to be 0. And if you're told for the last one that k is a constant, pi is another universal constant, so therefore this is also going to give me 0 as well. And I just threw in a few extra notations for you.